tout le monde! Today we're learning about les adjectifs possessifs or possessive adjectives in French. So first, possessive adjectives. First, they are adjectives, so they describe who or what owns something because they are describing, and then they're possessive in that we're talking about owning something. In English, our possessive adjectives are my, your, his, her, our, y'all's, and their. So let's go ahead and get into what possessive adjectives do in French. So first, it's important to realize that a possessive adjective follows the same rules as regular descriptive adjectives. So you have to make sure that the possessive adjective agrees with the gender and the number of the thing being owned, just like a descriptive adjective describes and makes agreement with the gender and number of whatever it is describing. Possessive adjectives shows ownership over the thing, so it has to agree with the gender and the number of the thing being owned. So you've got to consider two things when you are identifying the possessive adjective. First, you want to know who or what is owning the object, whether you want to say my, your, his, her, our. And then what's most important is that you need to know the gender and the number of the object being owned. So let's go ahead and look. Here are our possessive adjectives in French. You can see that I created this chart so that you need to know who or what is owning it, okay? And then once you've decided what you want to say, my, your, his, her, our, then you're going to choose the gender and the number of whatever is being owned to choose the right form of my. For example, if we're talking about un chien, okay, un chien is masculine, un, and singular, un. So if I want to say your dog, I'm going to go to your, okay, and then I need to decide, is chien masculine singular, feminine singular, or plural? Well, we already said un chien is masculine singular, so to say your dog, I would say ton chien. Voilà. Okay. So to say my, it is mon, ma, or me. Your, if like it's just a single you owning it, ton, ta, te. His or her, son, sa, se. What's really, really important to remember with son, sa, and se is that each of them means his or her. And we'll talk about that a little bit in the next slide. Our is notre or nos. You'll notice that if the owner is plural, if you have multiple owners of whatever this thing is, there's only a singular and a plural form. You don't have to know the gender if you're saying our, your for y'all's, or their. So y'all's, votre, vos, their, leur, leur. So remember, son, sa, and se, they all mean his or her. Son, his or her. Sa, his or her. Se, his or her. So you need to make sure you understand the context. So if I want to talk about her dad, I need to think, okay, I know I want to say his or her. Then what is the gender and number of dad? It is père, un, père, masculine singular. So to say her dad, son père. To say her mom, sa mère. Her parents, ses parents. Each of these words all means his or her. You just pick the gender or number of son, sa, or se based on the gender or number of what is being owned. Now, the one special rule with adjectif possessif is that if you have a singular noun that starts with a vowel, you will always use the masculine form, the masculine singular form. Okay, for example, if we have avion, regardless of gender, avion starts with an A. So if we want to say my plane, mon avion, your plane, ton avion, his or her plane, son avion. Regardless of gender, it doesn't matter. So if your noun is singular and starts with a vowel, A, E, I, O, U, Y, and H in French generally, you're just going to go with the masculine form for my, your, his, or her. If we have our, y'alls, or their, that doesn't matter because you don't have a masculine or a feminine form. Now, pause and work. So you're going to take the possessive adjective, my, in English, and you're going to choose the correct form of my and put that in this blank according to the gender and the number of the thing being owned. So make sure, you are referring to this chart right here, and you're going to want to have this in your notes. So based on that chart, you're going to figure out the gender and the number of the thing being owned, and then pick the correct form of my here, your there, her, our, your, and there. Okay, so pause, work, and I'm going to progress to the answers. Check them when you paused it and worked. So here we go. Elle aime mon chien. We wanted to say my, so we had to choose from mon, ma, or me. And you needed to make sure you chose the correct form according to the gender and number of what's being owned. Here it's chien. Chien is masculine singular, so we chose mon. Right here, as-tu ton cahier? Cahier is masculine singular, so you chose the masculine singular form of ton, ta, or te, your, ton. Il est son médecin. Now, médecin, again, masculine singular, but I wanted to say her. That doesn't matter. Remember, we talked about it with son, sa, or say. They all mean his or her, but you pick the correct form according to the gender and the number of the thing being owned. So here, médecin is masculine, so it is son médecin, her doctor. This also means his doctor, but in this context, we're saying her doctor. Nous détestons nos devoirs. We hate our homework. Devoir here is plural. Remember, with our, y'alls, and there's only a singular and a plural form, so that's actually pretty easy. So because devoir is plural, we chose the plural form. Vous avez votre nourriture. Nourriture, singular. So we have votre in the singular form. Elles aiment leurs frères. They like their brothers. We chose the plural form because brothers here has an S. So leur with an S. Now for the à bouffer, this is what we will check when we are together. You're going to fill in the blank with the correct form of this possessive adjective. Remember, pay attention to the gender and the number of the thing being owned. That is what is most important. Okay, au revoir, à bientôt.